Hi guys, today I'll be reading The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me by Roald Dahl, Part 1. Not far from where I live, there is a queer old empty wooden house standing all by itself on the side of the road. I long to explore inside, but the door is always locked, and when I peer through a window, all I can see is darkness and dust. I know the ground floor wants to be a shop because I can still read the faded letters across the front which say the grubber. My mother told me that in our part of the country, in the olden days, a grubber was another name for a sweet shop. And now every time I look at it, I think to myself what a lovely old sweet shop it must have been. On the shop window itself, somebody has painted in white words, "For sale." One morning, I noticed that "For sale" had been scraped off the shop window, and in its place somebody painted "Sold." I stood there staring at the new writing and wishing like mad that it had been me who had bought it, because then I would have been able to make it into a grubber all over again. I have always longed and longed to own a sweet shop. The sweet shop of my dreams would be loaded from top to bottom with sherbet, suckers, and caramel fudge, and Russian toffee, sugar snorters, and butter gumballs, and thousands of other glorious things like that. Oh boy, what I couldn't have done with that old grubber shop if it had been mine. On my next visit to the grubber, I was standing across the road gazing at the wonderful old building when suddenly an enormous bathtub came sailing out through one of the second floor windows and crashed right into the middle of the road. A few minutes later, a white porcelain lavatory pan with the wooden seat still on it came flying out the same window and landed with a wonderful splintering crash just beside the bathtub. This was followed by a kitchen sink and an empty canary cage and a four-poster bed and two hot water bottles and a rocking horse and a sewing machine and goodness knows what else besides. It looked as though some madman was ripping out the whole of the inside of the house, because now pieces of staircases and bits of banisters and a whole lot of old floorboards came whistling through the window. Then there was a silence. I waited and waiting, but not another sound came from within the building. I crossed the road and stood right under the windows and called out, "Is anybody at home?" There was no answer. In the end, it began to get dark, so I had to turn away and start walking home. But you can bet your life nothing was going to stop me from hurrying back there again tomorrow morning to see what the next surprise was going to be. When I got back to the grubber house the next morning, the first thing I noticed was the new door. The dirty old brown door had been taken out, and in its place someone had fitted a brand new red one. The new door was fantastic. It was twice as high and the other one had been, and it looked ridiculous. I couldn't begin to imagine who would want a tremendous tall door like that in the house unless it was a giant. As well as if somebody had scraped away the sold notice on the shop window, and now there was a whole lot of different writing all over it, all over the glass. I stood there reading it and trying to figure out what on earth it meant. I tried to catch some sign or sound of movement until all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that one of the windows on the top floor was slowly beginning to open outwards. Then a head appeared at the open window. I stared at the head. The head stared back at me with round, dark eyes. Suddenly, a second window flung wide open, and all of a sudden, out of all the crazy things, a gigantic white bird hopped out and perched on the windowsill. I knew what this one was because of its amazing beak, which was shaped like a huge orange-colored basin. The pelican looked down at me and sang out, "Oh, how I wished for a big fat fish. I'm as hungry as could ever be. A dish of fish is my only wish. How far are we from the sea?" Shh. "We are a long way from the sea," I called back to him, "but there is a fishmonger in the village not far away." "A fish what?" "A fishmonger. Now what on earth could that be?" he asked the pelican. "I have heard of a fish pie and a fish cake and a fish finger, but I have never heard of a fishmonger. Are these mongers good to eat?" This question baffled me a bit, so I said, "Who is your friend in the next window?" "She is the giraffe," the pelican answered. "Is she not wonderful? Her legs are on the ground floor, and her head is looking out of the top window." As if all these wasn't enough, the window on the first floor was now flung wide open, and out popped up a monkey. "Shh!" The monkey stood on the windowsill and did a jiggly little dance. He was so skinny he seemed to be made out of only fur bits of wire, but he danced wonderfully well. I clapped and cheered and did a little dance of myself in return. "We are the window cleaners," sang out the monkey. "We polish your glass till it's shining like brass, and it sparkles like the sun on the sea. We are quick and polite, we'll come day or night, the giraffe and the Pelly and me. We're a fabulous crew, we know just what to do, and we never stop work to drink tea. All of your windows will glow when we give them a go, the giraffe and the Pelly and me. We use water and soap with some kindness and hope, but we never use ladders, not we. Who needs ladders at all when you're 30 feet tall? Not giraffe, not Pelly, not me." I stood there enthralled then I heard the giraffe saying to the pelican in the next window, "Pelly, my dear, be so good as to fly down and bring that small person up here to talk to us." And once the pelican spread his huge white wings and flew down on the road beside me. "Hop in," he said, opening his enormous beak. I stared at the great orange beak and backed away. "Go on," the monkey shouted from up in his window. "The Pelly isn't going to swallow you. Climb in," I said to the pelican. "I'll only get in if you promise not to shut your beak once I'm inside." "You have nothing to fear," cried the pelican, "and let me tell you why. I have a very special beak I have. You'll never see a beak so fine. I don't care where you go. There's magic in this beak of mine. Hop in and don't say no." "I will not hop in," I said, "unless you swear on your honor you won't shut it once I'm inside. I don't like small, dark places." "When I have done what I am just about to do," said the pelican, "I won't be able to shut it." "You don't seem to understand how my beak works." "Show me," I said. "Watch this," cried the pelican. I watched in amazement as the top of half of the pelican's beak began to slide smoothly backwards into his head until the whole thing was almost out of sight. "It bends and goes down inside the back of my neck," cried the pelican. "Is that not sensible? It's not magical. It's unbelievable," I said. "It's exactly like one of those metal tape measures at home my father's got at home. When it's out, it's straight, and when you slide it back it bends and disappears." "Precisely," said the pelican. see, the top half of it is no use to me unless I'm chewing fish. The bottom half is what counts, my lad. The bottom half of this glorious beak of mine is the bucket in which we carry our window cleaning water. So if I didn't slide the top half away, I'd be standing around all day long holding it open. So I slide it away for the rest of the day, even so I'm still able to speak. And whenever I've flown, it has always been known as the pelican's patent beak. If I want to eat fish, that's my favorite dish, all I do is give it a tweak. In the blink of an eye, out it pops, and they cry, it's the pelican's painted beak. Stop showing off down there, shouted the monkey from the upstairs window. Hurry up and bring that small person up to us. The giraffe is waiting. I climbed into the big orange beak, and with a swoosh of wings, the pelican carried me back to his perch on the windowsill. The giraffe looked out of her window at me and said, how do you do? What's your name? Billy, I told her. Well, Billy, she said, we need your help. We need it fast. We must have some windows to clean. We spent every penny we had on buying this house, and we've got to earn some money, more money, quickly. The Pelly is starving, the monkey is famished, and I am perishing in hunger. The Pelly needs fish, the monkey needs nuts, and I am even more difficult to feed. I am a generous giraffe, and a generous giraffe cannot eat anything except the pink and purple flowers of the tinkle tinkle tree. But those I am sure that you know are hard to find and expensive to buy. The pelican cried out, right now I'm so hungry I could eat a stale sardine. Has anyone seen a stale sardine or a bucket of rotten cod? I'd eat the lot upon the spot. I'm such a hungry bod. Every time the pelican spoke, the beak I was standing in jiggled madly up and down, and the more excited he got, the more it jiggled. The monkey said, what Pelly's really crazy about is salmon. Yes, yes, cried the Pelly. Salmon. Oh, glorious salmon. I dream about it all day long, but I never get any. And I dream about walnuts, shouted the monkey. A walnut fresh from the tree is scrumptious, galactious, so flavory, savory, so sweet to eat. That makes me all wobbly just thinking about it. At exactly that moment, a huge white Rolls Royce pulled up right below us, and the chauffeur in a blue and gold uniform got out. He was carrying an envelope in one gloved hand. Good heavens, I whispered. That's the Duke of Hampshire's car. Who's he? Asked the giraffe. He's the richest man in England, I said. The chauffeur knocked on the door of the grubber. He looked up and saw us. He saw the giraffe, the Pelly, the monkey, and me, all staring down at him from above. But not a muscle moved in his face. Not an eyebrow was raised. The chauffeurs of very rich men are never surprised by anything they see. The chauffeur said, His Grace the Duke of Hampshire has instructed me to deliver this envelope to the ladderless window cleaning company. That's us, cried the monkey. The giraffe said, be so good to open the envelope and read us the letter. The chauffeur unfolded the letter and began to read. Dear sirs, I saw your notice as I drove by this morning. I've been looking for a decent window cleaning for the last 50 years, but I have found not one yet. My house has 677 windows in it, not counting the greenhouse, and all of them are filthy. Kindly come and see me as soon as possible. Yours truly, Hampshire. That added the chauffeur in a voice filled with awe and respect, was written by His Grace the Duke of Hampshire in his own hand. The giraffe said to the chauffeur, "Please tell His Grace the Duke that we will be with him as soon as possible." The chauffeur touched his cap and got back into the Rolls Royce. "Whoopee!" shouted the monkey. "Fantastic!" cried the pelican. "That must be the best window cleaning job in the world." "Billy," said the giraffe, "what's the house called, and how do we get there?" "It's called Hampshire House," I said. "It's just over the hill. I'll show you the way." "We're off," cried the monkey. "We're off to see the Duke." The giraffe stooped slow and went out through the tall door. The monkey jumped off the window sill onto the giraffe's back. The pelican, with me in its beak hanging on for dear life, flew across and perched on the very top of the giraffe's head, and away we went. It wasn't long before we came to the gates of the Hampshire House, and as the giraffe moved slowly up the great wide driveway, we all began to feel a little bit nervous. "What's he like, this Duke?" the giraffe asked me. "I don't know," I said, "but he's very, very famous and very rich. People say he has 25 gardeners just to look after his flower bed." Soon the huge house itself came into view, and what a house it was! It was like a palace. It was bigger than a palace. "Just look at those windows," cried the monkey. "They'll keep us going forever." Then suddenly we heard a man's voice, a short distance away to the right. "I wanted those big black ones at the top of the tree," the man was shouting. "Shh!" We peered around the bushes and saw an oldish man with an intense white mustache standing under a tall cherry tree and pointing his walking stick in the air. There was a ladder against the tree, and another man, who was probably a gardener, was up the ladder. "Get me those great big black juicy ones right at the very top," the old man was shouting. "At the very top," the old man was shouting. "I can't reach them, Your Grace," the gardener called back. "The ladder isn't long enough." "Damnation!" shouted the Duke. "I was looking forward to eating those big ones." Okay, that is it for today, and I hope you enjoyed reading along with me. If you have a book you would like to read along with me, just let me know in my discussion board on my channel homepage. Don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.